right, it is now time for raising funds for world domination, day number 280. So, for today's update, there are, once again, no updates on the anticipated appeal of the N13 eviction. There are still two sponsored block types in the Shopify Store. And today I did some filming for the video. Ideally I was hoping I could maybe do a couple filming sessions, but the stuff I got today, I can use some of it, but I will probably have to re-record what I did today. But making progress. Otherwise, we'll continue with work on the terminal block mining simulation game. So let's make sure that it works. So yesterday, did some more work on getting it working with the separated out class that handles the WebSocket communication. So basically, I kind of just copied and pasted that out into a separate class. So now I can slowly get rid of some of the complexity in that interface class. And that also allows me to remove some of the setters that I had. Okay, so that's the game working with the single player client. Make sure the server works. All right, no crashes. So this is the multiplayer client. That looks good. So I have a clean slate. So the exact same methods in the client interface class, I can remove those. I think I can get rid of that first. David Oswald. That's a long name. David Oswald says, "Hello, Robert. How's it going? Orthoplex 64. How's it going?" Hey, we got compile error. Is that necessary? Okay, maybe I can't get rid of that yet. I have so many of these convoluted methods, I can't remember which ones I need and what does what. But a bunch of them I can delete, so I'll just systematically go through that process. All right, looks good. Alex Torres says, "Hi guys, what's up? Not too much. Just working on the block mining simulation game. I'm currently refactoring. So I had this to make it work generically with like a single player and multiplayer client. I had two different builds, one for the single player client, one for the multi client, and I had an interface class to like generalize, so it's mostly the same code except the interface class was kind of the bridge between the client and the server. It was generic, but it has a lot of issues, and I want to merge those two clients, and I want to take steps toward adding multiplayer to the game. And so part of that is just kind of untangling this web of poorly written code. David Oswald says, "Hello, how's it going? I like your streams. A few weeks ago, months, I had a low moment. Helped me a lot, especially your viral video regarding explanation. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Some people said that it the stream was helps them be productive and stuff. So I guess there's a bit of a niche out there for that. I kind of hope that the numbers would grow over time, but I guess strangely, it's like it's almost always about the same number of viewers. I kind of figured it would either go up over time or go to zero, like it would converge to some value, but yeah, I don't know. Who knows how the algorithm works? What's the purpose of this game? The game, there's a link in the description to the GitHub, and the GitHub has there's some more details and some videos. It has some links to some YouTube videos on my channel to go into more depth about the game and what it does. But it's a terminal-based block mining game. In theory, almost everyone started from Vue. Yeah, that's true. Although, I guess I'm on day 280 now. I would have expected more of either more growth or more fall off, but that's all right. I'm just keeping up the pattern. Yeah, once I get the next video done, and also once I get this next milestone, I think I'll be in a position to make some more interesting, put out some more interesting stuff. Because like once I have like features in the game that are interesting, then I can present it and say like, this is done. It exists. You can try it, and people get excited. But if I just make videos talking about what I want to do, anyone can do that. Been wondering a lot lately about the fact you don't use an IDE or crazy NVim extensions. I respect you for that. Yeah, I got I got into extensions and stuff back when I started learning them. I kind of drank the Kool-Aid back in the day, but then after using them for a while, I just kind of I decided to settle on like a common subset of features and stuff that just kind of works universally, and my workflow and the way I do things is just I've settled into patterns so much that it's like extra work to go learn a new IDE or plugin or something, and then in 2 years people will be using a different one. They'll be trying to get me to use some other new editor. Okay, that works. So for this thing, we will now remove this. Will this work? It's incredible. I use IDEs to develop a simple REST app. It is, I am kind of behind the curve. I need to get into the whole AI coding stuff. And some of these, like the whole agent-based coding now looks pretty interesting and kind of exciting. Right, excellent. That works. Oh, I might actually need to do that also on the server. Could be that some activities like chatting in some given time frame work good for algo. You have 8-9 viewers more than yesterday or day before when I checked. I found recently the stream will start with like a small number of people, and then it'll kind of be around like 10 or something, and it goes up till about like maybe 25, 30 max. Sometimes people do ask lots of questions, and that there's some streams where I get almost no work done because I'm chatting all stream. Any lib you using Java-wise, engine-wise? Played with Godot? I played with Godot. I'm using I guess the stuff here in the POM, so those would be the libraries. Don't know, searching for some info about a command. Found the channel. Yep, that's exactly what I hoped would happen. I did a lot of those kind of long tail commands that they're not like earth changing things, but they're in the core utils package, so they'll be used, for the next century probably. No graphic lib. Yeah, the graphics is all from scratch. It's terminal based, so there probably are some terminal based graphics libraries out there, but this is in Java too. Use Spring to develop the game. Yeah, this Spring I use that mainly for like SQL queries and I guess there's probably a few other things it gives me. It works in any terminal. Right now I'm only making it work in like I would only consider like Ubuntu Linux the supported terminal, but most likely it'll probably work in other terminals with minimal modification. Any cursors come to mind? Yeah, I might actually end up using I think if I did like mouse support or something, I'd probably start using ncurses. But at the moment, like for the NC escape sequences and stuff that I'm supporting, it's not that complicated. I can just do it directly. RuneScope was made in Java, at least initially. Yeah, Java's a good language. Lots of people hate on it, but I think it's pretty good. Okay, that's a server interface. One of my faves, I can't say it in security context, as people don't respect it. More likely in DevOps, which I had some experience too. I mean, Java's not good in security context. My opinion was it was pretty, at least compared to like C. Java's at least memory safe. Love the verbosity and logic behind it. Backward compatibility. Yeah, I think the it's very verbose, but it's in my opinion, like you're specifying more information. Like it's more work to specify types and classes and stuff, but you actually get something for that. You're like specifying more information for the compiler so you can get better messages. A lot of phones and stuff in products, commercial. Oh, interesting. I guess I hadn't thought. I mean, I guess you could say a lot, but a lot compared to what, though? Creative Java Gosling? Yeah, first I was like, I thought Ryan Gosling. I thought of like the memes of him with the purple. What's that one where he's talking to the hologram? You look lonely. I could fix that. Compared to money production use, but not super a lot. He died. Did Ryan Gosling die, or the creative Java Gosling? I forgot his name. Related to web usage of Java in the past, at least. Yeah, I know. Remember, Java was used. Java applets was the thing, and then they kept getting 0 days constantly, and then they removed it. But honestly, the more like Java seems like a very enterprise friendly language. I guess too, it would be a bit like why maybe more corporations experience more vulnerabilities with it. Maybe due to the fact that corporations use it more. Corporations are not using, like, they don't use C in production as much. Remember, Java works easily with district platforms, fastest than others. Try to learn some Quarkus for microservices. Never heard of that. Applets. Yeah, I was looking into if you can even like run Java in a browser these days. Because I like running Java applets. That's not even a thing anymore. Are you still building a business outside of YouTube, or just working on building the channel? In the last year, almost all the work has been on the channel. Rust seems to be quite the trend. Yeah, the syntax though is kind of off-putting. GBoss, Finance, Oracle, Tomcat. Yeah, Tomcat is what I'm using for the web server for this. Okay, so that I have problems in here. The multiplayer client. Rust has taken over. Slowly true. Will it though? I know it's there's a subset of enthusiastic users of Rust, but I have a feeling it might slow down the adoption of it. I think initially Mozilla was pushing it a lot, but then Mozilla ran out of money, and I think they laid off a bunch of Rust devs. I think they're Java stack tracing errors, debugging, is top shelf. Maybe I'm a noob. If you're doing multiplayer, that would be something. Yeah, technically it already exists. I basically have like it's basically single player over a network connection, so all the messages go over on the network. I'm currently refactoring the code to kind of make it generic, so that way I can do effectively. I want to be able to do like some of the multiplayer testing in one client, so I can open up an interface where there's like 2 different players at the same time, and then I can watch them of like 2 different maps from each perspective. That'll be good for. I might even eventually work it into a unit test. Okay, we removed one more reference. So the remaining setter I want to get rid of this method. Purple PFPs are blinding. Oh, you mean the lights? Hack some UDP, make it low latency. I think I'll probably just make it slow latency. My philosophy is make it functional and correct, and then like build good unit tests up around it, and then once that works, then maybe I can, someday down the line. For now, it'll just be TCP, and it'll be super slow. Just needs to practice with something you like and be patient. Yep, I guess. The purple, blue, is red. Follow the white rabbit. Purple plus blue plus red. The color theory of monochromatic light is complicated. No profile pics in chat. Oh, but the purple. The purple profile pictures are blinding. I'm not sure what you mean by blinding. Joseki says, "Hey, good evening. How's it going? TCP isn't that bad. Minecraft has always used TCP. Yeah, I think Google invented like Quick or something, which is like, if I'm not mistaken, it's kind of like an alternative protocol to TCP that runs on UDP. And the intention was for just trying to squeeze a bit more out of network communication for web stuff. Always good to see you streaming. Thanks. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I'm glad you're having such a good time. Okay, if I can remove this, if I can get rid of this method, get remote block model context. Sorry, wrong vid. You gotta be careful and type it in the right chat, otherwise you'll say something embarrassing. Yeah, it's making me extremely lazy. It set my expectations so high. I want to get so much done. I'm just getting AI to do things. Yesterday I got to spit out an entire Chrome plugin. Yeah, I was I guess I can talk about like I said before, I haven't used AI much for coding yet, but I've used it a lot for image and graphics generation. And I found it is also making me lazier for like when I want to build graphics. Like some of them I could just do them manually in GIMP, but I'm not good at graphic design. So, but it's like when it gives a good result, it's so amazing. And I used to I would do one query at a time and wait for it, and then sometimes like hit the threshold. But then I realized, like, wait a minute, why don't I just I'll just copy and paste the prompt 5 times. I'll open ChatGPT, just take the prompt, ask ChatGPT to do the same thing 5 times, and then I just take the best one. And I'll do that until I hit the rate limit. And that's a good strategy. So you can ask I'll ask it increasingly aggressive things. So a higher percentage of things would I'll have to just discard more and more of the work. So I can see that being the pattern that everyone goes toward, is people ask AI to do 5,000 things and then come back later and check it to see if it did any of them right, and then just throw away massive amounts of work. In my case, it's even worse. Yeah, it's feeding me so much info I can't process it. My head is spinning. think everything is information, basically. I am ambivalent about information. There's too much information on the internet these days. Ever need space to think? I have a shower. That is a pretty good place to brainstorm. I think a lot of important ideas have been born in the shower. They say AI is sycophantic, but the other day I asked it what it thought of my PRNG, and it crapped all over it. Yeah, I think they made some updates to make it less so. Just some PRNG in the past for Bouncy Castle. For a while, I couldn't avoid. That's a great question in every response. Actually, not a terrible idea. There was a time when you'd get people creating grids of images with different parameters. Yeah, I find it's like if I just want to make a nice title for something that's got some styling on it or something, it's really good. I can say like make a nicely graphic designed title that says this and that, and use these colors and stuff, and just throw it into ChatGPT, and I ask like 4 or 5 times, and I'll get one of the results will be usable. Whereas if I did it manually, it would take, 20 minutes or something. Most people don't get is that computation can be done on anything. Stones, cats, stones, dogs, or cats. A binary and all that is really resulting functionally from some other. Yeah, I mean it's true. You can do computation in pretty abstract ways, but it's difficult to characterize computation on dogs. What do you feel are the greatest challenges as a full-time content creator? I don't know. It's a good question. I guess I've been kind of only focusing on this the last year. The extreme variability in revenue, and also like the economy is changing a lot, so the revenue's actually quite down quite a bit, and you're also at the mercy of the algorithm. So if the algorithm decides your videos don't show, then everything goes down. I will finish my Red Bull. It's getting late. Okay, so for this interface, it's probably going to be hard to get rid of these. So I guess maybe a local block session could store a reference. That might work. What if you'd benefit from multi-platform approach over streaming? I probably would, but there's stuff I need to do to research before I actually do that. I will take one SNUS based in VI build. Yeah. Thanks, I used all my 2 brain cells for that comment. Excellent, good job. That's true, but ATP, we're making rocks, I think, so I can't flex on them anymore. Give me some big amount. X dogs in a cluster would have some reasonable T-flops. But what would be the error rate, though? You have to overcome noise. And if you want to, like, what would be the fundamental computing node? And the power consumption would be massive. Think how many joules of dog food you'd need to run that computer. Do you feel that copying either broadly or narrowly a successful channel is worthwhile? Or do you just have your own thing and see what happens? I guess the stuff I'm doing kind of flows from what I think is important and relevant. I guess it's the intersection between what I think is important and relevant, but also what actually makes money. And I've been following that for years, which is, I started off with my consulting business to get leads. I decided to write blog posts. That has got some traction, and it seemed like there was more of an audience for just consuming that content. So then I leaned more into content, and then doing blogs. Yeah, eventually it became clear that videos do better than blogs, and that's kind of obvious now, but it wasn't super obvious in 2019. Maybe the dog computer could even run Crisis. Yeah, I mean, if you have infinite resources, if you have the entire universe to represent stuff on, you can use as much energy as you want. What do you think about game theory? I know of game theory. I know it's an interesting way to analyze things. You have some background in math or philosophy. You speak very formally and logically. I have a degree in software engineering, and I did take some like formal logic courses and stuff. I will be made redundant soon, so I am looking around to how to make money as a dev without having to get another full-time role. But I suspect it's inevitable. I will have to go back to work. Yeah, it's crazy out there. I hate to be kind of fatalistic, but you can watch. I mean, if you want some negative thoughts, watch it's one of my recent videos. I think the last 3 or 4. I think the word failure is in the title. It's like the surprising reason why businesses fail. And in that video, I talk about like the struggles and difficulties of starting an online business if you don't have massive amounts of money to start with. And I think anything like digital is just so competitive. Like there's no your control in your ability to achieve growth is extremely, extremely limited. And it's also not in your control increasingly. And I've started to get like increasingly cynical about like almost everything in the digital domain. Like one aspect, I mean, there's the governments are trying to roll out like digital ID, and people are concerned about like debanking and government surveillance and control and forcing certain economic activities. But the more I think about it, the more I think it's actually even worse than that, because like the data that we produce and the analytics that we produce and stuff, there's so much information that it's not just governments that are interested in like competing or stealing your information or surveilling you or like covertly sabotaging you. There's like foreign state actors. There's like people who don't like I'm sure there's people out there in political parties who are building lists of people in the opposite political party that they don't like, and like trying to sabotage their businesses in like a covert way. Like pick your least favorite political party. There's probably lists you can get of like people who belong to those parties, and then you can have like bots that just like downvote or flag their videos or something, or their websites and stuff. And with the increasing digital stuff, it's almost more like it's becoming like a battlefield. Go Web3. My advice is stay away from everything crypto. I think there's no, I think actually, if I was going to start a business today, like if I was actually, like, I don't know, maybe I'll change my opinion in a couple of years, but I think just starting something physical in the real world, like construction material, like maybe something to do with procuring, processing, or like something to do with the raw materials for housing, because no matter what, we need to build more housing. And the thing is about all the issues with the like digital surveillance and getting shadow banned and stuff like that, trying to compete in the internet arena. You don't have that in the physical world. Love your analysis on job searching, past experience. Thanks. The inevitable software engineer farm arc. I'm starting to think like that might be like a necessity. It really depends on how the government goes about it, because it seems like the government wants to push for more control and like more ability to like shut off your access to services and stuff. Like I have I spent all this time building a YouTube channel, and now I want to set up a shop, and I did that, and my merchant center is disabled, and I spent like a week making my store better, and appealed 3 times, and I gave them, they have my driver's license, my passport, they know everything about me, they have my banking information, they have all that information, and despite all that, they just say like, we think customers are being misled in your store, so I can't, no one actually sees the links to my store. And if I can't if I can't use the channel to advertise the products, then the value is limited. There's lots of money in the conspiracy grifter niche. Look at Alex Jones. Yeah, I mean, the worst part about Alex Jones is a lot of stuff he said was actually true. I mean, historically, I just thought he was a crazy guy, but then what do you know? There's a whole bunch of really specific things he said that turned out to be like 100% true. Hope it's a compliment, but you are a type of guy I would hire on the spot. But big corporations would probably have you on blacklist, or you would be, if they have such broadly. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Housing is due a massive shakeup. Yeah, housing prices need to come down. Fiat money is a massive shakeup. I'd love to see a Formula One for housing, where you have a very limited time. You have to build the best house as fast as possible. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. What would you do if someone blackmailed you? I don't know. I guess it depends what it's being blackmailed about. Watched a really good video on YouTube about monetization. As an artist, basically using YouTube as a bridge between apps like TikTok and Instagram, things like Patreon. Using YouTube as a bridge between apps. It's pretty much a trend that all those apps don't want you linking off of their site. So if you post something with a link, outbound link, it's like heavily downranked. If someone blackmails you, publish all stuff on yourself quickly. Yeah, I guess I could just post whatever there. I just make a YouTube video. I'll have a big title that says "I'm being blackmailed." Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm getting blackmailed. Single player server interface. Oh. What package? Single player client. What's the most outlandish conspiracy theories you've discovered were actually true? Well, I guess speaking of Alex Jones, the one, I think Alex Jones was talking about Epstein like 15 years ago or something. And that's kind of how we got that reputation of being like, he's just saying crazy stuff. Have you considered writing blog posts to promote your videos, live streams? I already wrote 200 blog posts, and I've concluded it's a waste of time because they get no views and generate no traffic. Both my parents died today? Wow, that's rough. Okay, what to do in my life? Well, I guess it could take a couple of weeks. Just think about things, reflect. Seem like a joker a bit? Yeah, that's kind of out of left field. I can't verify that, so I won't question it. But if that's the case, that's pretty rough. How to make a CPU part 2. I'd like to, I just don't have time. Yeah, I guess it depends how old you are and what phase of life you're in. Maybe you can I don't know, it's hard to give general advice, but it sounds like you've got some family, so hang out with them and get some advice. Have you coded in Kotlin? I have not. Jones mentioned JE 2006 during his Florida trial. Making blog posts. You're going to make videos of you reading other people's blog posts. I was actually thinking about I should make some low-effort content on my own blog posts. The guy with the dead parents killed the mood. Well, you can reset it if you want. We don't know if it's true. We don't even know if anyone in the chat is real. Everyone could be bots right now. I might be talking to... It's possible that every night I go on live, every single person in the chat is just ChatGPT. The conspiracy element is still kind of unproven. We know he's a bad guy. Not where it went or who we knew. I think there is substantial specific information that's been released about him that links him to a number of crazy things. I'm real? Excellent. The NDCZ says hello. How's it going? If someone can help find a way for me, it would be nice and useful. Maybe Asian or Latina, good in tech, not too high, patient, pretty, and a math background. I will let you know if I find someone matching that description. If I was a bot, how would I find out? I don't know. I don't think you would. tried role-playing in WoW once as an orc, going through an existential crisis. Role-playing. I remember they used to have role-playing servers in WoW. I never that was an aspect of the game I could never get into. Role-playing. Okay, let's try to get this to compiling. Right. Okay, now I think I can delete this. Couldn't find a job in programming after college, so went into data center technician. Thoughts? I guess in this economy, if you can get something and get money and get experience, that's the way to go. I didn't keep up for long. It was tiresome, constantly going, why am I here? Why am I leveling? Who are my parents? Data center. Yeah, there's probably data centers are ramping up now. That's where all the government money is going into AI data centers and stuff. So wherever the government is throwing money and wasting it, that's a good place to be. You said you had some crypto one time, but now you are any crypto. Why did you play in the crypto game? Why did you play in the crypto game at one time? I first heard about Bitcoin, I think back in like 2011. I remember when I found out about it, I was pretty interested. I wanted to try to find like how to mine a Bitcoin. I couldn't find any. There was very little information about it at the time, but it sounded pretty cool, and I bought some before the first peak. I bought it at $200. I know someone who found his first relationship in WoW. True story. I knew someone who whose wife met another man. And wow, and destroyed his marriage. Wow, I guess I wouldn't have expected so many relationships to come from the game. We should mass distribute WoW to East Asia. I can't see why. WoW was in World of Warcraft. Do the WoW servers even still run? I haven't played that game in a very long time. Sell gold in East Asia? I do remember that was a thing. Found something for your project. It's the food that lasts forever and high in protein. It's called spirulina. All right, thank you for your contribution. What are your thoughts on Canadian PM speech in Davos? I don't really pay attention to anything he says. I think he has plans that are very different from everything that he says publicly. Like it almost seems like he probably talks to he has some communications optics people, and he probably asks them okay, what is exactly what people in Alberta want to hear? What is people? What do French speakers want to hear? What do English speakers want to hear? What does every group want to hear? And then he just says that, and then constantly contradicts himself. And he doesn't really care about his inconsistency. And he just says one thing and does a totally different thing. I found out about Bitcoin roughly the same time. I recently found an old comment on a video about it. 2011. If I just invested my money. The problem was it was hard to buy Bitcoin back then. The ways you bought it was very sketchy. Domain expansion. I'm not sure what that is referring to. I think Deadmau5 should be PM of Canada. That's a good idea. That would be an improvement over the existing situation. Ignacio Suarez says, "Good morning. How's it going?" Oh, I think I'm pretty sure you bought the block types. I've got your blocks added to the game. It's not compiling at the moment, but if I can get it compiling again, I'll show you. Ignacio Suarez. Go back to coding, man. I just did. Now I'm compiling. Robert Elder, oral farming. Am I? Okay. Okay, these are the two new block types. So I want to add production of like coal. So this is I want to keep it focused on cast numbers. So I looked up like what's the closest cast number for a type of coal, and calcinated anthracite is one. So that'll be used for fuel. And yeah, here's the other one. And I think in the input you specify one of them slightly differently, but I use the shorter version for both. So if you want the dedication changed, let me know. Do you look into multi-streaming? I've not. Today I filmed some stuff for the next video. For the next little bit, I'm just going to focus on the next video before I do anything else. Just realized, is Robert Elder your real name? Yes. Idea for monetization. Allow us to name a block in your game. I'd pay for that. You can, yeah, if you visit the shopify.robertelder.org, you can purchase a sponsored block type. There's two types available at the moment. Robert Elder's name reminds me of David Wise. I shall be using these blocks. Yeah, eventually, well, this paves the way for. I'll add a new recipe, so it'll. I just have to get around to doing this, but I'll probably add one. So you go from wood to calcinated anthracite, and then you use that to produce to go from iron oxide into the metallic iron, just to give it slightly more realism. Ideas for monetization: we play and solve puzzles, and we mint NFTs, and you can sell casts. Nah, I'm not into NFTs. AESB are my blocks. I just wanted to donate more. There was no option to pay. Pay more for a single block. Robert Elder's Conqueror's Hacky is too overwhelming. Do you believe in Jesus? I don't have enough information to. I guess presumably he was probably a person that existed. But in terms of the spiritual aspects, I don't have any information on that subject. Okay, the multiplayer client works. Let's see if the single player client works. Let's test the multiplayer. Excellent. That is working now. Do you believe he's a historical figure? Presumably, like if he existed. Like it's I mean it's not difficult for a person to have existed and been written about a long time ago. But all the other spiritual stuff is difficult to and that I don't know, it's too much, too complex of a topic to say anything about. I would have to go to, like, if I to make up my mind, I'd have to like study theology, get a PhD in theology, and then also like understand the archaeology from the period. And in fact, his real name is unclear. Yeshua is Hebrew for Savior. Probably an adopted name. Presumably there probably was a person back then who, did some stuff. If you want to dive, what's unclear? Elohim is unclear. Translation. Just start from the beginning, Genesis. Done? Oh, you bought a block type? Nice. I will get that added to the game soon. He spoke Aramaic, not Hebrew. And Greek, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask about this subject. All right, I put in my hour for tonight. This was a good stream. I made progress in deleting a bunch of code, which is good. The interface class is pretty simple now. So let's see. Yeah, I guess next. Yeah, there's a couple other. So I think that finishes off like decoupling all these different classes. Maybe I'll see if I can maybe delete some more of those setter functions and stuff, and then just like really simplify the single and multiplayer client more. And once they're as simple as I can make them, then I can think about how to merge them together. There are the ways of ancient tongues. All right, that'll be it for tonight. We'll pick things up tomorrow night for day, I think it's 281. All right, have a good night, guys.